Hi there, Karen Flaherty here from Living by Human Design with today's Human Design weather. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're enjoying the fall season wherever you are. Today we're going to be talking about the gate 43, which is typically called the gate of breakthroughs. Okay, so we've got the gate 43 called the Gate of Breakthroughs. Started late November 10th, right around midnight, and then it goes until November 16th. And the Earth is in Gate 23, which is called assimilation. And the funny thing about these two is that, and I think there's only one other grouping like this, but when the 43 and the 23 come together, they create their own channel. And so all this week we will have this channel defined, and it will connect the Ajna and the throat. So we've already got the head and the Ajna connected with the 6124. Now we've got the 4323, which is called the channel of structuring. And this is up here is 6124 is the channel of awareness, very holistic thinking. This is a different kind of thinking, which we'll talk about. We've already got the throat connected to the sacral, again, the 3420, the channel of charisma. And then finally, we've got the root connected to the solar plexus in the 1949, the channel of synthesis. And this, again, will be connected all week. So we've got each of these centers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all connected this week, which is really unusual, very, very unusual for all these transits to be connected in this way and creating the energy in this way that we're having here. So buckle up because it's going to be an interesting week again. We also have a lot of energies coming in from the people I listen to, and you can believe it or not, but there are more kind of waves of energy coming through. It's everything from solar flares that are kind of acting up to waves of consciousness that are changing, things that are moving about in the atmosphere. There's a comet on the way. There's just a lot of energy moving around, and it's having an effect on us. And beyond that, we've got all these transits making it very clear that there's energy abounding in each and every one of us. So whether you have these colored in or not on your chart, they're going to feel like they're colored in this week, and they're going to feel like they're defined, and they're going to feel like you have some of this energy. Now it may, wane and, come in and wane and go back and forth. And you might be tired sometimes if you don't usually have the sacral filled in, and the sacral is now pretty much filled in through January. You're going to feel tired sometimes. With the head and the ajna, you're going to feel as if you have definite opinions about things. With the throat being motorized to the sacral, you're going to feel like you can speak and be heard. With the solar plexus being defined, you're going to feel sometimes like you're more emotional than other times. I certainly was feeling that already this week. And with the root, you're going to feel a little more grounded, but also you'll do things in your own sweet time. And so those are kind of the effects of some of these energies. So they will be having an effect on all of us in one way or another. And just be aware, just know your own energy, know what usually is defined in you, and stick to that as much as you can. So with the sun in the gate 43, we've got the earth in the gate 23. And what this means for the gate 43 is it's called the gate of breakthrough, or breakthroughs, or insights in the original I Ching. And it's described as in order for achievement to be maintained, a new order must be fairly established. And what this means is that the breakthroughs that come in are, can be seen as an achievement, right? You're having this intuitive or intellectual, if you will, breakthrough coming through in your mind, but you have to kind of allow for it. You have to allow it to make its way into your situation or environment, usually by speaking. And that's where the gate 23 comes in, because the 43 is the breakthrough coming from the ajna, and then the 23 connects to the throat, which allows it to come through. And so assimilation is also called splitting apart. In a way, think of it as splitting the thought or the opinion into ways that can be heard easily, or in other words, assimilation in the original I Ching. And they call this amorality, which is kind of interesting, but I think it's not so much a lack of morality as it is departure from morality. In other words, there's nothing moral about it, is what they mean, is what this means. It's a breakthrough. It comes through the head, into the ajna and out your mouth. And so it's just what is, right? For you, it's what is. It's your opinions, it's your insights, it's the things that have come to you. And so it's the awareness and understanding which leads to the acceptance of diversity. And so it does come through, and it allows for perhaps a change of thought, perhaps a change of energy, perhaps a change in the way you've been doing things. And it could be, and in many times is, innovation. This is where a lot of innovation comes from in the chart. We call this channel, as I said, it's called the channel, technically called the channel of structuring, but colloquially, we call it the channel of freak to genius. Because at times the things that come through can sound like genius. Some of the most brilliant people I know have the 4323 in their charts. But on the other hand, if you're saying something that's very brilliant at the wrong time, because it's all about timing, when you say something at the wrong time, it can sound like you're kind of a freak, or you don't know what you're talking about, or people will turn away, or it's just too strange to even consider. And so it can sound like you're a little freakish. And so people may or may not want to continue the conversation after you've said that. Now, when you do figure out how to say it, and it's something that a lot of people like hearing, then that's when it becomes the genius part, right? So in this week, we're dealing with the incarnation crosses of the cross of explanation, insight, and dedication. And in the gene keys, assimilation starts with complexity, because you can imagine if you're trying to speak a very complex idea, because that's usually what this is about, it can just sound complex to somebody else. So that's the shadow. Simplicity is the gift, because if you can make something complex into something simple for people, well, then so many more people will get it. So many more people will want to hear about it, right? And quintessence is the CD. So here we have a graphic from the gene keys. Pausing leads directly to insight. And so it's the idea of pausing once you have the breakthrough, right, to create the insight that is actually heard by people. So if you pause, perhaps that insight will be heard more easily by others. For here in the gate 43, we've got the shadow. The shadow is deafness, the gift is insight, and the CD is epiphany. So he says life is a mystery in which chance and love are dancing together. And so what he means by this is that all these ideas that are coming through the 4323, and this could happen to you this week, or check your chart, because I'll tell you, many people who listen to my videos, or that I've met at fairs, or that I've somehow attract, including my husband and his father, my brother, one of my brothers, and a number of nieces and nephews, and some very good friends, all have the 4323. So I am surrounded by geniuses. And that's a lot of fun, but it's also very challenging sometimes. But the ideas that come through can really be very, very innovative. They can be very challenging. They can also be the kinds of things that take the really complex idea and make it into something that everybody can understand. My husband actually had been a project manager at AT&T, and then IBM and Lucent for a long time. And his gift was, with this 4323 in his chart, being able to take the really complex IT programs that he was working on and explain them to the executives and the board of directors and everybody who cared about spending the money for these IT programs, right? And so he'd be able to explain them, get up in front of the room and speak very lucidly about these very complex ideas and have everybody understand what the deal was. And so he did very well because of that. And it's just a gift he has, and that he can take a very complex idea and melt it down to something that everybody can understand. in the room, and that's a gift. So they also say that with the 43rd CD, the only thing you know is that you know absolutely nothing, which is a wonderful thing for the 4323 to actually glom onto, because they have the defined head, because they have the defined ajna and throat, and usually, or many times, the defined head as well. They think they know a lot. They're the kids at the back of the room going, I know. And they also have this 4323 is also very auditory. And it's literally connected to the inner ear, or part of the inner ear. And so it's a very auditory thing. And it's that they learn best through auditory ways. And they also have a very, how shall I say this? They like to talk, and sometimes don't listen or don't hear when other people are trying to talk as well. So they may not hear when it's time for dinner. And so one thing that I learned a while ago is that the 4323 does respond to tactile touch, basically. And so if there's something I really need to say, then I'll touch that 4323 on the elbow and get their attention. And so that does tend to work. And then he's in time for dinner. So here are some personalities born in the gate 43. As I said, it's the crosses of explanation, insight, and dedication. Literally, these people are here to explain things to us. They're here to have insights. They're here to have this dedication to making their insights known. And so we've got some really, amazing, very insightful people here. People like Neil Young, famous songwriter and singer, Johnny Lee Miller, the actor, Louis Brandeis, the very first Jewish Supreme Court justice, Martin Scorsese, the producer and director, Georgia O'Keeffe, the painter, Claude Monet, another painter, Auguste Rodin, the sculptor, Robert Louis Stevenson, Whoopi Goldberg, Prince Charles, Ryan Gosling. So lots of different kinds of people, all with very specific points of view and ways of making money in the world in a way that's very unique to them. And I should say that the 4323 is somebody who has, they've got that freak to genius. They've got something very individual to say, and it sounds brilliant when it comes out right, but it doesn't when it's not the right timing. But it's usually very individual, very unique to them, and something that's really has the potential to change the world. And so these people are, in our midst, among us, and they probably will be the ones to bring the changes that are needed for, climate change and politics and economics and all kinds of things in the future, especially the young ones. So this week, of course, today, November 11th, is Veterans Day, previously called Armistice Day, because it was the very end of World War I in Europe. So the German leaders signed off on the papers that ended World War I. And so the Allied forces, the Americans, the English, the French, decided to officially end. And so because it was November 11th, they decided to end it at 11 a.m. of the 11th day of the 11th month. And so everybody put down their arms at 11 a.m. And I get emotional about it because my grandfather fought in World War I as an Italian immigrant, having come to the United States and then enlisting in the war in World War I, which officially made him a US citizen. And then he did come back. But remember, this was also in 1918, which was during the pandemic, both in Europe and in the United States and all over the world. And so it took actually quite a while for him to get back after that. And then it probably wasn't too much of a coincidence that my grandparents were actually married on November 11th in 1922. So, and then in 1921, the English and the French had already created one. So the United States also created a Tomb of the Unknown Soldier at our Arlington Cemetery. So President Warren Harding dedicated the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier at Arlington National Cemetery with the inscription, "Here rests in honored glory an American soldier known but to God." It's pretty powerful. On November 12th in 1990, Tim Berners-Lee, the British computer scientist, published a formal proposal for the creation of the World Wide Web. On November 13th in 1952, Harvard's Paul Zoll became the first man to use electric shock to treat cardiac arrest, which is still used to this day. And in 1982, the Vietnam Veterans Memorial was dedicated in Washington, D.C. Albert Einstein presented his quantum theory of life on November 14th in 1908. And in 1902, on November 16th, a cartoon appears in the Washington Star, to end on a lighter note, prompting the teddy bear craze after President Teddy Roosevelt refused to kill a captive bear he tied up, that had been tied up for him to shoot. And so that started the teddy bear craze in the United States, which again continues to this day. And in 1945, 88 German scientists holding Nazi secrets arrive in the United States to effectively help us end the war. So I hope you have a wonderful week. Do take care. Be aware of the energies that are around you or that you might be feeling, whether it's from the transits or from other people or from energy in the environment where you are. Be aware of it, take care, and take it easy if you need to. Take a break, take a rest, take a nap. Do what you need to take care of yourselves, because the energy will be quite significant this week, and you know about it, so you kind of have a little bit of an upper hand, and you can point your finger at it and say that's what's going on, and you don't have to react. You can have your life, make your choices, and follow your own strategy and authority so that you're doing what feels best for you. Have a great week. Take care. See you next time.